Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a bonus full moon for the month of April tarot oracle reading. And Virgo, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Virgo, we all have a little bit of Virgo in us somewhere. Where is Virgo if you have your birth chart? Which house is it in? That's where this information will show up for you. Whoops. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then, that could give you further clarity as to your situation now. So we're going to begin with the underlying energy at the bottom of the deck, and we have the Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles is representing communication coming in. The pages would work for the king and queen in the old days. They would start when they were really young, around 7 to 14. And they would come from like the surrounding neighbors that were maybe higher class, society. And they would learn the ropes of working for the palace. And if they were really good at it and accomplished, by the time they were 21, they could be possibly considered for knighthood, as long as they could afford a horse. So now this energy is talking about communication coming in regarding pentacles, and pentacles represent your health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimensional world. And so this, you could have all the coin is representing the pentacle, or the element of earth. You could have all the money in the world, but it doesn't necessarily mean you would be living the lifestyle that you want. So this is more about lifestyle. And the energy, the communication coming in the old days, it would be like right in person. But these days it could be in person, but it also could be a phone call, a text message, an email. It could be a social media post where you get messages, or you see a post and it's advertising an event. You attend the event and you meet someone. It's the perfect person for you to meet for that, whatever your issue was. And then it could also be, if you watch the news, sometimes what's going on at the top is sometimes going on at the bottom here. It's quite likely to be on a different level, of course. And that is sometimes valuable information. So it's some form of communication coming in regarding pentacles. And then we have the Seven of the Seven of Wands coming in. And the Seven of Wands is talking about conviction beyond a doubt. You know what you know, and you're willing to stand up for it, and you're willing to fight for your position in it. And so this is talking about our internal force, your internal forces. You can tell that it's coming from inside you, because the questions you'll be asking is, what if this happens? Or what if that happened? What if they do this and then I have to do that? It's that kind of energy. So it can keep you in a thinking loop for hours, really. What if, what if, what if? Internal forces, the woulda, shoulda, couldas of life. And so this is talking about someone who knows what they know. They have conviction beyond a doubt, and they're willing to stand for their position. And this person looks like they've gone to higher ground because of the actions of others, and they're defending their position. They've got this wand. The wands are the element of fire, and they represent passion and action. And so this person is willing to fight for what is his. And it's interesting, he has a boot on one foot and a shoe on the other. Now this could be because he was in a hurry and had to rush out and protect himself and his property, or it could be that he's straddled between two different worlds. So let's see what's going on here. That's your internal forces. And then we have, all right, this is the energy that you feel you're in right now, the Empress energy. So the Empress is in the major arcana, and she has the qualities of all four of the queens from the minor arcana rolled into one person. So this, in tarot, to become an Empress, you have to have enough life experience that you learn the ropes. And so the Queen of Wands is very sexy and natural beauty, and her specialty is creative solutions using her intuition and her logic. The Queen of Pentacles is known for being very resourceful. preferring quality over quantity, someone steady that you can rely on. The Queen of Cups is she's all about love. She's a container of unconditional love, and the Queen of Swords is the coldest of all the queens, but it's because she has been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. So she's learned the art of discernment the hard way. So this all rolled into one person, and the Empress is sitting, this wheat around her feet represents, like, she makes, she puts the effort in, like when she makes plans, she, you know, decides, okay, which field am I going to plant the wheat in, and then prepares the soil properly, fertilizes it, whatever she needs to do. And then she plants it at the most opportune time. But then she lets nature take over, and she just knows all she has to do is wave her wand, and it'll work out. Nature will look after it. And that's how she is. She doesn't worry about things. She just, you know, moves forward. She's considered to be pregnant with possibility. And sometimes she can also be actually pregnant. So it could represent that kind of energy. And we have the Judgment. So Judgment is talking about, you know, some sort of judgment coming down. It can be like redemption of karma as well. So it's coming from the spiritual realm and coming into the third dimensional world. And the trumpet is blowing, the angel is like here. So this is saying it's on its way. The ancestors are literally coming out of their boxes, and the descendants are waving to them across the water here. So this represents an energy, like this could be something that your ancestors weren't able to clear up before they maybe crossed the veil. And so they are, they're literally coming out of their boxes there. And they are cheering, yay, finally, judgment's being called. And so they, this sometimes can represent skeletons coming out of the closet, as well as maybe opening Pandora's box. And the thing is, once you open Pandora's box, there's no closing it. So we have the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles, as I said, is very resourceful. She's focused on the pentacle. She is considered to be, you know, like very resourceful and very stable, like someone that you can count on. You can rely on her. And she prefers quality over quantity. This is talking about generational wealth, a legacy that you can leave to your children and your grandchildren. So it's a lot of coin, it's a lot of lifestyle. And then we have the Sun coming in. So the Sun is representing God and the energy of God. And this is actually you when you were young, when you first came into the world. And, you know, maybe at toddler age. And this is showing how happy you are. And that's how you're meant to be. And so this is saying, you know, the banner you're carrying here is your destiny. And you're carrying it with ease with one hand. You're on this pony. You don't have any fear, no reins. And the sunflowers in the background are all turning to the sun, and it's showing that this is how you are destined to be. Like, this is the happiest card in the deck, and so it shines its light on all the other cards and makes the whole reading more happy, as well as it brings more insight into the reading. And then we have the Five of Wands, which represents the element of fire again. This represents actions. I feel this is these cards quite often do come together, and they have been showing up a lot in these readings of this new moon. And so, or this full moon. The energy is a little bit different from how it was at the beginning of the month. It's calmer. It's calmer, but in a different way. So this is talking about immature competition coming in. And I feel like these 5 wands here are the 5 wands here. So it's talking about having to fight with some sort of competition, and maybe you don't even know them. And maybe you don't even know what you're competing over. But it could be possibly be an empress, that kind of energy. Sometimes when queens come in with and there's already an empress card out, sometimes they're 2 different people, but sometimes it can mean that it's just showing some of the qualities of the other queens that are in this Empress. So we have this energy, there's competition, and it's immature competition. So this is my Mean Girls card. Think about if you have a bunch of narcissistic cheerleaders and they can see the other team won. It's clear that they did, but they don't care. They want to win the trophy. So they'll do anything to win. And if they don't succeed, their mothers will. So this is an energy of winning at all costs kind of energy. And it's also that, you know, as you mature, you start to realize that it doesn't matter if you're in a competition with others, if you're in a, you know, competing for a position for employment, you know, whatever you're competing for, if it's a sport, whatever, really, you're not competing with the other team, you're competing with yourself. And, you know, you only have to be about 1% better than the other team to be able to win. So it's about doing your best every time you go out there to do the same activity, that you're at least 1%, there's something about your performance that it's 1% better than before. And if you keep doing this, eventually it really adds up. And if everybody on the team has this attitude and learn from the competition, if they're really better than you, watch what they're doing and implement that as best you can for your next performance. And then you're always gradually improving. And so that's the kind of energy we have here. So this is how you are, your identity and self-worth, you're seeing yourself is as in the Empress energy. As I said, she's pregnant with possibility. There is a chance that, that maybe you're pregnant. Maybe you know that, maybe you don't. It's just, it doesn't have to be, but sometimes that's what this card represents. And the Judgment is about abundance and self-worth. So yeah, there seems to be some pentacles missing here. And you know what? I forgot to get the card for, we'll get the underlying energy for the internal forces here. The underlying energy is a cup of love coming in from the Knight of Cups. So that came, I usually pull that out right after this one, but I went straight, I put this one here. So for whatever reason, it's supposed to be here. And the Knight of Cups is identifying your internal forces. So the Knight of Cups, like the page, he's the older version. Not of this one, but he's the knights would, you know, deliver messages more far and wide throughout other kingdoms. In the old days, they only had like that kind of communication. They didn't have like all the ways we have now. So there is a cup of love coming in, and that's this quite often with the knight in shining armor is the one you read about in the romance novels. So this usually means a cup of romantic love. It could be, though. It doesn't have to be. It could be something you love to be or something you love to do, that kind of, or it could be someone you love that's other than your significant other. But in particular with this reading, I feel it is talking about a significant other. So here we have the Judgment coming in about your abundance and self-worth. And then we have communication in early life. So I feel like you were raised for sure by your mother having, you know, a steady approach to life. So pretty stable and basic, taught the value of money and what, you know, what you can do with money. This is the home and family, like your emotional foundation. So a very happy childhood. I feel like you've had a happy childhood, and you know, you're in a really awesome energy here now. So the creativity, or this is, the creativity in romance and children. So this person is fighting for this. Now, with one shoe on one foot and one boot on the other, like I said, it can be in between worlds. So maybe you are considering starting a family with your partner. And this is the energy, that would be a real happy gift if that was to happen. And I feel like it's maybe the one thing missing from your lifestyle. And so this is something you know what you know you want it. And the competition, I don't know what that is about really, but let's take a look. Like it's in your daily routine and habits. So this could just mean that you might have other children, And it's going to add more of a more complicating situation, or perhaps you're pregnant with more than one baby at once. Something to do with that. We'll take a look at it, and just as it comes up. We have the world here. So the world represents that this is an end of a cycle. So this is the external forces. The external forces are instead of saying what if this happens, or what if that happens, what if I have to do this, what if they don't do that, that kind of energy. Instead you're saying to yourself what the EF happened, and that is an external force happened. And so it's talking about the external forces are coming in, and I feel it's from something to do with this competition and you having to stand your ground. There's something about the world, the way you were living is changing somehow. And this cup of love is coming in. So maybe you're not in a relationship as of yet, but now someone has their eye on you. And maybe there's a lot of competition for dating you, or, there's a lot of competition, or maybe for both. This is a knight in shining armor, and you are an empress. So, hey, both very quality. I think that's what this is saying. I feel like this, okay, let's go again here. I feel like there's a chance that, like, you're in the Empress energy and you're considering, okay, maybe I'm ready to get serious about a relationship and whatever. Maybe you're dating someone by now or whatever. And judgment is coming in. Yes, it's time. God is saying, yes, it's time. The ancestors are cheering because, hey, they want you to be happy. And then this is talking about your communication in your early life. And so you maybe always felt like you were going to have that. And that's the one thing that's missing, because you have a good lifestyle from here and being an Empress energy. And then this is home and family, so that your emotional foundation is strong and you're happy. And then we have this deciding, you're willing to stand your ground here. I want to have a family, and you're in between the two worlds. So this could be just deciding, you know what, maybe I'm ready to get in a committed relationship. And perhaps there's a lot of competition for you, so it's not an issue. Or the person that is coming in, which is the Knight of Cups, there's a lot of competition vying for this energy. And so it's talking about your singlehood being to an end, because now this cup of love is coming in. And there's something about the pentacles here yet as well, but I feel that's the energy of this reading. And then this is talking about hanging from the tree of knowledge and really giving this a lot of consideration. So the hangman is wanting balance in their life, and it's talking about he hangs from the tree of knowledge upside down so that he can gain a new perspective. And you know, what better perspective than upside down? It's totally opposite from standing. When he feels like he has all the information he needs, then he'll go out and he'll put it into action. And so this energy is in your commitment, partnerships, and marriage. So this can represent that energy right there, is that there's a change happening and someone's going to take action. So that's probably the Knight of Cups kind of energy. Now, I just want to point out that the characters in tarot are archetypes. So like the Queen and the Empress could be males in their feminine energy, as well as females in their feminine energy. And the same as the Knight. The Knight could be a female in her masculine energy. So just take it how it works for you. So here we have a King of Swords here, and the King of Swords is talking about some sort of, this is going to go in your transition. So there's going to be a change in your life, and that, you know, we already can see that from the external forces. So this is representing someone who's a professional, uses their words to earn their living, like not their physical body, basically. And so this is talking about someone that's at the top of their game, and they could be, like, say, a politician. So this could actually be a king, or it could be a president or a prime minister, someone in the Senate, in the Congress, like someone high up, you know, if they're in politics, ministers of the federal government, etc. And then energy of the sword is, you know, using your mind, your intellect, and discipline of your mind. So being able to discipline your mind and your thoughts. And your thoughts are expressed through words, whether that be written or it be verbalized. And so this is someone that earns their living with their words. So it also could be someone who's a lawyer in that, or in the legal field. So a judge, a lawyer. If it's a lawyer, it would be a lawyer that is in a partnership, you know, is already a partner in a larger firm, someone high up in the firm. And it could represent a best-selling author. It could represent an online influencer. What else? It could represent a researcher, someone who's doing research, you know, in the exploring innovation in health, and also maybe in gadgets, whatever, that kind of energy, technology. And what else am I missing here? I think, you know, you get the idea. It could be a surgeon because, you know, of the sword here. So this energy, the King of Swords understands that talk is cheap and actions speak louder than words, that you have to keep your word. Also, the King understands that, you know, this sword is a double-edged sword, so you want to be able to use your logical mind combined with your intuitive mind and your intuitive ability, and that words have power, and they're very good at using words. They're charming with their words. So this is talking about someone that understands that words can be used as weapons, and they can also be used as to uplift people. And so this is in transition, this King of Swords. So it could be a King of Swords coming in with this cup of love for the Empress energy, and or the Queen of Pentacles. But I feel like this is probably the same person, and this is just talking about some of the qualities that you have as an Empress. Although we do have a sword, 3 swords. So the 3 swords represents definitely some sort of heartbreaking situation. It can be that. Let's take a look here. So we're talking about, you know, when you look at it, you think, oh, this isn't good. You know, there's 3 swords in this person's heart. But then when you look again, you notice that the heart is really big in context to the swords. So these are more like pinpricks or nails at the most. And so you know, this is representing someone that has a potentially heartbreaking decision to make. Because remember, the swords do represent your mind and your mental intelligence and your thoughts and words. Sometimes this can represent the energy of a third-party involvement in a couple, like dividing a couple. And it can also represent the energy of gossip and slander. In court of law, it can represent perjury, that kind of energy. So this is talking about a potentially heartbreaking decision has to be made, or sometimes this can represent your subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind. And so your subconscious mind is developed by the time you're about 6 years old. And you know, if you think back, like, you can't really remember very much of that time before you hit kindergarten for a lot of people. And especially when you're a baby. Yet when you're a baby, you're like a sponge, you know, and you absorb the environment, and the people around you have a huge influence on you. It imprints you for life, basically. And so the subconscious mind is really made up of other people's thoughts and the environment that you were raised in. And when we get triggered, we have a tendency to go to the subconscious mind, and it's the most unreliable, you know, because it's not really, it's full of the thoughts of other people who thought, you know, if you ask them, what was I like, you know, you were like this and you were like that, but what if they were poor at reading you? You know, so it's not the most reliable. And then the unconscious mind is your soul's needs. And so if your soul does not have, you know, a lot of people will say, okay, I'm a human being with the soul. But it would be more accurate to say you are a soul traveling in a human body as your vehicle to be able to explore Earth. And the thing is that your unconscious mind is your soul's needs. And your soul has needs just like the physical, you have your physical needs. And so if the soul's needs are not being met, the unconscious mind can become very loud. And then we have the conscious mind. The conscious mind is what you have a handle on. You know, this is your own memories, your situation you've experienced, you remember it. It's, you know, totally 100% coming from you. And then if you can get these three minds working together, and the way you do that is through meditation, quieting the mind, like training your mind, disciplining it to be quiet so that you can feel for the intuitive answer as well as think. And so this can be very beneficial. And so this card can represent when the three minds actually come together and they're congruent. And if they're plugged into your heart's desires, then you're going after your authentic desires. And that would mean you are on your destined path and well on your way. So it can be both. It could be like you were in this energy and now it's talking about you, it healing, your heart healing, and because this is about healing and apology, etc. And once that's done, then you're ready to move on to a new love if you're not with this person anymore. And that's what this could represent, is that you've decided, like, either you were in a relationship and maybe it didn't end well, and so it came to an end, and now you're starting with this new energy, or you were single already and you just have made this decision that, hey, I'm maybe you've met someone, maybe you know, the cup has been delivered and you're like, I really might want to get married. That kind of energy. And so this is, you know, right now we have the full moon that we're coming up against here, or up to, is the full moon is in the sign of Libra. And Libra is when you are feeling like you are really ready for a big commitment and maybe to start a family with someone, and you understand that commitment and you're mature enough to be able to handle it and do a good job with it. So the Libra moon that's coming in here is very much about your significant other relationship. So this energy has been coming in all the readings, like so far that I've done, and you're the sixth one. Everybody pretty much has had like a version of these cards, which was these are not the cards that have been coming up at the beginning of the month. So we had a lot of astrological influences that are affecting people right now. We had 2 eclipses, a lot of planets, about 4 of them, including Venus, which rules love, on March 6th moved into the sign of Aries. Neptune and Saturn both moved into the sign of Aries. Venus is there, and yesterday, because I'm doing this reading on the 24th, yesterday we had the north node of the moon, which is your purpose, like what you came here, your divine path, is in communication with Mercury, or in the same, they're together. And this is a powerful energy for really being able to figure out what your divine path is by going inward and really meditating. And it's like really good communication with the Holy Spirit and God. So this is really awesome energy for if you're kind of at a crossroads, to take a little bit of time for yourself, even if you just go for a walk and quiet your mind and feel what's coming in. Pay attention to your dreams. We had the energy on the 18th there was a new moon, and that was in Pisces, and that energy was bringing in a lot of intuitive, the Pisces energy is very, you know, it's from water, and it's a very psychic energy. And so a lot of times our dreams, when there's a moon in Pisces, our dreams are very intuitive, and they almost seem like, wow, like you can remember them, you know. So if you've had that experience with the new moon on the 18th of March, you know, pay attention if you can remember what they were down. Sometimes some people journal their dreams for this reason. So this energy, if you want to know more about it, because we had 2 eclipses as well, this is really powerful energy, but it's a reading in itself. So I did do the eclipses, but there was one on the 17th of February, and then there was another eclipse on March 3rd. So you can take a look at those. It's in the same playlist as this one here. But coming back to the moon now, Libra energy is exactly opposite on the wheel in the horoscope from the sign of Aries. And all of these planets are in Aries. So there's all this energy pushing, let's go new, 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 because Aries is a newborn infant energy. Like it's the very first sign. And so a lot of this energy is a lot of people are feeling this desire to experience something new, or to add a new element to their existing life, like to some sort of shift. And the Aries energy is much more about, oh, hey, what about me energy. If you have, a newborn baby, they cry very loudly because they need their needs met. And it's that kind of energy. So this moon, the Aries energy is basically saying, hey, it's self-assertive. I need my needs met. And the Libra moon, the Libra part is saying, hey, let's compromise. And then Aries is like, I'd rather be myself rather than be tactful. And it can be a more independent energy. And the Libra energy is saying, come on now, let's, we need to, the Libra energy is very diplomatic and is like fair-minded. So it's like, well, can we compromise in this way? And Aries is like, no, I want my way. It's that kind of, so this is talking about balance in relationships. So this is really good energy to be in if you have a significant other, or even if you don't and you're considering having one. This is when a lot of epiphanies can come in, especially regarding any issues that you've been putting off in your relationship with your significant other, and then being able to put strategies in place to improve that energy. So this is really, it's really amazing actually how, like, out of 6 readings that I've done now, these almost like different variations of a lot of these cards are coming in. And I haven't seen these cards come in for, for like a good 3 weeks anyway, because the energy was very different at the beginning of the month. So we have the Queen of Wands energy coming in. And so the Queen of Wands is considered to be very sexy and natural beauty. She has this veil behind her representing the energy of intuition and logic. So she's very good at finding creative solutions. She's passionate. She has her element of fire here. And she has a little black cat here. So it's just showing that she doesn't believe in superstition. And she has the sunflower in her hand. So she has a normally very sunny disposition. Now she's in the position of your career and reputation. And I'm just wondering if, like, this competition energy here is maybe vying for this attention, and whether or not, like, if it's someone that is maybe interested in you, then this competition might be interested in that person as well. Not so much this person interested in this person. Maybe they are a little bit, but I feel like it's more this way. I feel this person's interested in you and wants to offer you a cup of love, but this person might be a third-party energy, trying to divide you because she wants him. It's some sort of energy around that. Or it could be an actual affair if this is already your partner. So because this energy is like that. And so right now, your best friend is to have an open mind, and at the same time not be impulsive. Like control that, control your emotions, discipline your mind, make your mind work for you. And that's what this energy here is talking about. So this could be either way, because we do have the sun here. So it could be saying that a potentially heartbreaking decision has to be made, or it could say that, hey, congratulations, you have managed to discipline your mind and plug it into your authentic desires. So we'll see. We have another transition coming in. Yeah, I feel this energy. I feel like this, if this King of Swords energy is the energy of, that's wanting to bring you a cup of love, I feel like he's totally interested in you. This isn't, he's not playing around kind of energy. And I feel like there's a lot of competition though, for you as well. You're an Empress. So it's kind of like maybe this person's jealous. That's kind of energy. But this energy, I feel like this King of Cups or this King of Swords and you getting together could end up being like, okay, he makes it really clear he's not single anymore. You know, that kind of energy. So this is a transition energy again, and we've had we've had two major transitions in this one little reading here, and they're both regarding your love life. So it's busy, but it's good energy because it's very productive if you use this energy correctly. And this energy is talking about the light at the end of the tunnel. And you know, the king is trampled, but this is not talking about the king actually being trampled. It's about systems being like trampled and having to be redone, like we're seeing on the planet right now. We're seeing a lot of systems. We're seeing for the first time in the history of like 3 centuries, we have a monarch, you know, someone who's a member of the monarchy in England that has actually been arrested. That hasn't happened in 3 centuries. So it's that kind of energy. We're seeing a lot of happenings on the political scene around the world. And so this energy, it's kind of like saying it's when something you thought would never end, like, okay, you could have a hobby and I love doing this, I will do this for my whole life. Then one morning you wake up and you're like, I think I'm done with it. I think I've explored it as much as I can and I'm done. And so it's that kind of energy where all of a sudden you're just like, okay, so this could be the king making it clear that he is now single and he's just dating you. So the competition can back off now. That's the kind of energy. And the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor. Of course it is, because you're the Empress. And so this is talking about the Wheel of Fortune is actually 3 wheels turning in one, the past, present, and the future coming together. And this energy is really very cool because it's talking about the perfect order of the universe and synchronicities showing this. So the past, present, and future are represented here. And there's actually 3 wheels on this Wheel of Fortune. It's not just one wheel. And on one of the wheels are the Hebrew letters of the name of God, and which is Tetragrammaton. Tetragrammaton is an actual sacred symbol, and it is talking about like the perfect order, like that we have on the earth. A lot of people think that the earth is very chaotic, and the universe is like it's all chaos, but it's not. It's very, very orderly. And this is kind of showing it. So the letters of God, when geometria, which is when they add numerical value to each of the letters, when they put them in different combinations with the Word of God, what happened is it came out very close to the phi ratio, 1.618. And the phi ratio is when how we see the perfect order in the universe, how just thinking about what a miracle a baby is, or what a puppy, or even a kitten, or a bird, whatever, a flower. It's just so incredible how they turn out perfectly most of the time, right? And there's the odd exception, but basically it's a very orderly system. And this can be is expressed throughout nature, and we can see it in nature. And once you see it, it kind of, if you're having a bad day and you look around you and you start to notice it, it reminds you, hey, there is perfect order in the universe. So if it's gotten chaotic, it can come back to order. And so this energy is like boxes that are nesting boxes that get gradually bigger, but they have the same ratio basically. And this is called, like, for example, tornadoes and hurricanes follow the golden spiral, where, you know, it had the funnels, they look the same basically, whether it's a hurricane or whether it's a tornado. And also, like, you can see it in seashells and in some fruits, you know, like pineapples, you know, you can see it there. That kind of energy. And then we also have the golden ratio, and the golden ratio is talking about that same phi ratio, but it's expressed in those nesting boxes. But if you look at it from the point of view, say, of your face, you know, we all have certain proportions that are similar. I mean, they're slightly different, but we have the forehead, you know, like the top of the hairline to the eyebrows, and then from the eyebrows to the bottom of the nose, and the bottom of the nose to the chin. And then you look at your head, and the size of your head to the size of your upper body to the size of your lower body. And then you can see it in the limbs, like the upper arm to the lower arm, upper leg to the lower leg, and then your hand and your fingers and your foot and your toes. Like, we all look basically the same in that way. And even tree branches and vegetables and fruits all follow these principles. So there really is perfect order, and this is talking about that this is God's plan, because God came out here, and so God is shining the happiness on this, and the wheel of fortune is turning in your favor to experience this really cool relationship. And so let's see, for those of you who, okay, this is good, I don't want to jinx it. Leave it alone, Colette. I've had a bad day. This is the best part of it so far. I understand. So thank you for your time and energy. Give it a like and a comment. And if you would be so kind, as it does help me build my channel, and consider subscribing if you resonate. Whoa, here, these are the cards that want to come out. And so I would be honored if you did so. So we already know which cards want to come out from my oracle. My oracle is Tales from the Vector, T-A-I-L-S, from the Vector. And I do have a website, talesfromthevector.com. I started this in 2007. I'm an artist. I did 64 paintings, and they're big paintings. A lot of them, like 30 of them or so, are like 3 feet by 4 foot paintings with a lot of detail. And there are dragons coming in from the future, from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. There's dragons, dragonflies, there's angels, there's crystals. There's a lot of energy in these paintings. And so I'm ready to bring it out eventually here, but I want to play with the cards. I have a lot of written information that I gathered over the years as for each painting. And but now I'm getting ready to bring it out, and I want to play with the cards a bit, so I know how they are really, you know, it's one thing for it to be on paper, and it's another thing for it to be put in action in the third dimensional world. So the card that wanted to come out here to clarify this energy is the moon. So the moon energy is talking about just what we've been talking about. And look at this, it even has the 18 on it. And it's March 18th that we had the Pisces moon. I'd say take a look back, just try and see if you can remember what was going on then. It might give you further clarity. You might have had a dream or something that you're still like, wow, that was a real dream. We have the Lovers coming in. So that's confirming that this is a divine couple partnership coming in. And look at this, we have it ruled by the sun. So that's saying this, that the sun is shining its light down on this energy, and that it's a gift from God, basically, sending this picture. And the judgment is maybe you've been waiting a long time to find an empress. You know, empresses aren't a dime a dozen. Yeah, to become an empress in the tarot just means that you have had to really have, you know, put the energy into staying on your path and being like having learned a lot along the way. So this is about how temperance is about devotion to your path. So God's judgment is just maybe saying, hey, you deserve this, and it's coming in for you. There could be something about money here that you are not aware of, and it's got to do with generational wealth. So there could be something around that if you're, you know, wondering about that kind of energy. you know, if this isn't about romantic love, but it's leaning more that way for most people, but it could be about a partnership in business or something. And scotoma just means there's something you're not seeing. And we have scotomas in our eyes sometimes where there's like a spot where the pixels get blurred because there's a slight imperfection. But we don't even notice it unless it's in a real, you know, serious part of the eye. So, but the scotoma in real life is kind of like other people can see something and you can't. Or you can see something and no one else can see it. Or everybody can see it, or no one can see it. So this is talking about there's some sort of blind spot around your pentacles for some reason. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of like legal energy. The only, we have judgment coming in, and we have, this could be conviction beyond a doubt, as in prison sentence. What else do we have? This could be lawyers involved. But really, there's not a whole lot here saying there's a lot of legal. So it could just be maybe the person that you're getting together with, the King of Swords, has a lot of pentacles. And so when the Empress already has a lot, you put that together, it could be a lot of pentacles. All right, so we have, this is coming in, it's on its way. The Chariot energy represents, hey, it's on its way. The Chariot also can represent law and order coming in as well. So I feel like, though, this is talking about the order of the universe. Like maybe you've been someone that has put a lot more energy into your career, and now you're starting to get worried. Oh, I'm never going to meet the person, you know. And it's like, no, I'm going to make sure that I put myself out there. I'm going to make it a priority. Just like if you make your career a priority, sometimes you have to make your career as a romantic partner a priority. And look at this, we have falling and failing in love. It's a matter of I. So this is about, you know, really standing on it. Okay, I deserve this. I'm going to put that energy out, that I'm ready now, you know, that kind of energy. And so, you know, the best investment you can ever have is in yourself. And if you're putting that kind of energy out, then you attract people who see your worth. And you're an Empress, so you're, you know, you want to stand in that energy. And then you can only, other people are only going to love you as much as you love yourself, basically. And then we have the Star energy saying, like, yeah, you're on your destined path, and this person that is coming in with this cup of love, it could really be a beautiful relationship, not just for romance and that, but for companionship, and also maybe as a business partner or something. Like, it's an all-around good thing. And we have the Wheel of Fortune coming in. So the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor. Also, it's basically saying the external forces coming towards you are going to be strong. This energy here is making sure you're not going on a foolish journey. So this is about partnerships, commitments, and relationships. In the past, you may have had certain expectations, and expectations always create limitations. So this is more about anticipating the journey because you're on God's designated path. And so keep an open mind, because this person could be very different, you know, from your usual type. And quite often that's the case when it's a divine partner. And maybe you're not used to being around people that are like professionals, like, you know, that think, and maybe you're more, you know, you've gone out with more like rebels and, you know, band people, you know what I mean? Rock and roll people, or that kind of spiritual people, or whatever it is that you were into. So this is talking about elephant. What elephant? So this is about transition, recognizing that, hey, maybe I don't, like, I did a whole series of Valentine's Day readings, and I thought, oh, they'll be nice and fluffy. And they were all tough love, every single one of them. And I'll tell you what, that came up, you know, a lot of the readings, is God says, the person I send you in is going to be very different from your usual type. And there's a good reason for that, because your usual type usually leaves you in this energy. So your type sucks. Take, you know, I wouldn't steer you wrong. Take, you know, give this person a chance kind of energy. And so this is talking about dissension. Yeah. So this is when, you know, with friends like this, who needs enemies? You might have had a situation in the past where someone was, like where you were in a relationship where you were, there was a third party involvement, and maybe it was even your friend or one of their friends or something like that. It was someone that you was in more in your inner circle. And, you know, that can be really challenging. And then we have, yeah, because some people like the trauma and the drama. Drama and trauma come together. People that are raised in a, you know, a house that's more dramatic and or where there's trauma have a tendency to be more dramatic in their relationships. So it can just be that kind of energy. And then we have the Sagittarius energy, and the Sagittarius energy is talking about moving forward on a new adventure. And what's interesting also is this is coming, blessings coming in. And we don't have any other signs out here, but I just want to make it clear, like when my horoscope signs come out, I'm not talking about an individual person, although that may be the case in your reading here. You'd have to use your intuition for that. I'm talking about the energy of the sign itself, and Sagittarius energy is very adventurous and enjoying knowledge and really liking to get out there, meet new people, that kind of energy. And also when it comes to judgment and the cosmic heart, that kind of energy, because we have judgment here, is, you know, this is something I didn't know until a few months ago, that the Sagittarius, the constellation of Sagittarius actually has a black hole in that constellation, and a lot of people consider that to be the heart of the Milky Way. So it's kind of cool energy. So it's even saying that, you know, the universe is really supporting this relationship. And then we have, okay, we have a foolhardy journey here. There we go. So you can anticipate it instead of having expectations. And that's basically saying, God saying, you need to let go of your expectations. This person's going to be different from what your norm is. But you're going to love it. That's the energy coming in. So I do hope you've enjoyed this reading. Please give it a like and comment if you have, and consider subscribing to my channel if you resonate. I would be honored if you did so. And I will have another astrological insight for you coming up pretty quick here with the beginning of the month energy. Bye for now.